a major development in implementing the roadmap. So it's possible, of course, for the other side, for the terrorist groups, to try to divert the attention and to try to destabilize the whole track. But we are you know, the government of Egypt is very, very firm in implementing the roadmap in one hand, and parallel to that, to fight terrorism, implementing the rule of law on the other hand, parallel.
Well, Dr. Badr, moving now on to another topic, which would be the Arab relations. And whenever we speak about this topic, two things come in mind. We have the role of Saudi Arabia and Emirates on one hand, and Qatar on the other. And I don't know really where to start, but why is this animosity of Qatar at the moment?
Well, frankly speaking, it's because of the policies. You know, unfortunately, you know, when you have an Arab world facing challenges which could lead to disintegration of some Arab countries, of the whole regional Arab system, you are now facing a real threat. So logically, for the Arab countries, they should, of course, unite in order to fight these common challenges. Unfortunately, you have one country, I mean, adopting policies which is, of course, against Arab solidarity, against Arab unity, Arab nationalism as well, by hosting terrorists, by hosting a media outlet called Al Jazeera, which is, you know, full of incitement, materials promoting violence, promoting lies, and does not reflect realities. Then, you know, there is animosity, not only from the Egyptian people, but also from most of the Arab people, because we have to understand well that the current problems of Qatar is not against with Egypt now. It's between Qatar and most of the Arab countries. And that's why Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kingdom of Bahrain took this bold and common decision.
This is actually the next question I was going to ask you now. Egypt is the fourth country withdrawing its ambassador from Qatar.
No, just to correct, we've been the first country to withdraw.
So if you can tell us about that.
Sure,
yes, please.
Sure.
So since when has it withdrawn its ambassador, and what is this move going to lead to or achieve, hopefully?
Sure. Again, Egypt, you know, since the 4th of the 4th of February, recalled its ambassador from Qatar. We, at that time, we announced that he's in an open vacation, and that was a diplomatic term. We use it upon good offices exerted from other Arab countries, especially in the Gulf countries, the Gulf region, you know, namely Kuwait. They urged us, please give us some time in order to try to mediate with Qatar, to try to convince them to recorrect their own track. So that's why we use this term. But when we found that, you know, there is no movement and the other side is insisting and no change, then the foreign minister issued a decision, you know, an internal decision to keep the foreign minister, our ambassador in Qatar, Mr. Mohammed Morsi, to keep him in Cairo just a week after coming to Cairo from Doha on the 4th of February, and not to go back. And he announced that this is a political decision. It means that he's not going back to Doha unless Qatar implement or respond positively to our demands, which are namely to stop harboring terrorist figures, to extradite them, to stop Al Jazeera from inciting against Egyptian and promoting violence, and of course to respect one important principle, which is the non-interference in the internal affairs in any country. So, in a nutshell, again, we are coordinating with the Arab countries, including, of course, Saudi Arabia, because Egypt and Saudi Arabia are the two pillars of the common Arab actions. Also with United Arab Emirates, with Bahrain, with other Arab countries, in order to put more pressure, in order to unite, to build an Arab consensus to implement the commitments of the which been stipulated in the Arab Agreement to counter terrorism of 1998.
So what is the reaction so far from Qatar to these demands?
Unfortunately, you know, in actions there is no positive response up till now. We almost 4 months ago, the public prosecutor sent an official request to ask the Qatari authorities to cooperate and to extradite one terrorist elements. Also, the Ministry of Justice, through the Egyptian embassy in Doha, send another request to extradite some Egyptian who've been requested to justice here. Unfortunately, there is no response whatsoever. Before that, we used to hear, you know, sweet words that we are not interfering in Egyptian internal affairs. We are supporting the will of the people of Egypt, but this is not enough at all. Good words should be accompanied with deeds, with actions on the ground. So again, there is nothing on the ground.
Nothing material in terms of a
yes.
resolution or an agreement in
yes.
terms to meet the demands that was
right.
presented.
Yes.
But this also means that the direction will be moving towards eliminating Qatar from the GCC, or having a new form that was also suggested by other people that includes Egypt somewhere or another. Do you think some council of that sort could be implemented rather than having a GCC? And what is the position and stance of countries like Kuwait and Oman?
Well, first of all, I cannot, of course, speak on behalf of the other countries. Secondly, you know, we issued a very important official statement from the Foreign Ministry almost 3 months ago. We warned them. We said it literally that if the Qatari authorities are not going to respond positively, then they have to bear the
consequences.
Absolutely. And now they are paying the price. Again, we said that it's not between Egypt and the Qatar. Egypt is so big. Egypt is the biggest Arab country. It's the mother of all Arab countries. We cannot, you know, put Egypt on equal footing with Qatar, with all respect to Qatar. But again, it's because of the policies of Qatar. Qatar has to respond right now. Very important question. Where is Qatar located in the Arab arena? Is Qatar on the side of the common Arab actions, in the Arab solidarity to face the common challenges facing the Arab interests, or is Qatar siding on the other wrong side? This is up to the Qataris to respond to that. But till they decide, I mean, they have to, of course, to bear the consequences. Now it started with Egypt. After that, 3 Gulf countries, you know, took a similar action or stand. So they have to, of course, to respond to this important question as soon as possible.
Well, Dr. Badr, also Africa was another dimension that was totally forgotten in the previous era. And where do we stand from the African Union decision to suspend the participation of Egypt in the AU activities, even though we're not a coup?
You are right. Thank you so much for this important question. You know, in the first press conference of Minister Fahmy, after being assigned as a foreign minister in July 2013, he said that our priority as a foreign minister, as a foreign ministry, is to reposition Egypt's stand in Africa. So since July till now, the minister, you know, toured Africa 6 times. He's now in Sudan. We managed, I can claim that we managed to return back to Africa and to return Africa back to Egypt. You know, the foreign minister went everywhere, to the Nile Basin countries, to West Africa, to South of Africa, to North Africa, in these 6 tours over the last 6 months, with one objective: that we are serious. We are serious about Africa. We neglected Africa for a long time, especially since the attempt on former President Mubarak's life in Addis in mid-50s.